welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the privacy edition, and I have a new affiliate here. If you are a writer or into anything writing where you need to clarify your grammar, of course everyone knows about Grammarly, but if you haven't seen the privacy policy, they basically say anything and everything you put in our computer is ours, period. With no extensions, all the royalty, all the blah, 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 that you can't do anything about. Well, there is actually a competing service called Pro Writing Aid, which has a privacy policy that says, what you type is your business. We don't store it. We don't keep it. We don't want it. So I highly recommend using Pro Writing Aid. This is one of the tools that I actually use in writing as well. You can find it at tlm.li/PWA. That is my affiliate for that. And welcome to the Privacy News. News recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are going to be talking about, what is it we got? I think we have 5 news stories here in Privacy News. Let's jump right on in. Of course, we started talking about Pro Writing Aid because Grammarly now directly integrates with the Microsoft Word's Mac app. So if you use Microsoft Word on the Mac, now Grammarly can tie into that and steal everything you're doing on Mac as well. Because if you have not gone in and looked at the privacy policy for Grammarly, it's one of those ones that makes you go, ugh. It makes Facebook look like it doesn't collect and store a lot of data. Okay, that's Grammarly. But if you are using Mac, then you can actually now integrate this directly into the application. So beware of that you're going to see an upticking in ads targeting Mac users for Grammarly, and it's a bad deal. Use Pro Writing Aid instead. I have a link to that in the description. All right. So, of course, the next one is over 4,000 more, oh God, Android apps. Remember how, like, was it 2 weeks ago, I think we covered the Google's Advanced Protection program or something, the APP program. You can only get apps installed in the Google Play Store for your ultimate security. Dude, the ones from F-Droid are infinitely better and actually audited for security. But no, 4,000 more apps are silently accessing all your installed software. This deals with a Google, or an Android rather, API, that when you use this API, it automatically can harvest without any permissions at all. No permissions able to even do anything about it. It can harvest all of your information, like the number of apps that you have, and send it back to the company. So greater than 4,000 Android apps are actually doing this. So these are all Google Play Store apps, of course. They do this silently. There's no permissions. There's no way of knowing. It's just something that security researchers have actually found. It's based on an Android API, as we said. And looking at the number of apps, of course, many games are doing this. There's comic apps, personalization, auto and vehicle, down. What's the lowest? No category. There's a couple of these are actually open source, which is interesting. So these could also be doing the same thing. So that would be a neat thing to check if I'm reading this chart correctly. This actually came from a full journal article. I did not get a chance to read the article, so I read these summaries. So it's top 20 library packages using IAM. So you can see what these guys are. And if you actually want to read the whole article itself, I believe it is linked in here somewhere. It's this one right here. So all of my links here are on the website at switchedtolinux.com. You can go ahead and have a look at the description of this video for a link out. Just double check on which apps you're using. Make sure that you do not have any of these apps. All right, now another program launches another kids application. Spotify Kids app launches in the US. If you take what they say on the surface, this actually does appear as though it is being pretty good for security and privacy. The downside is it does require you to have a full family account, and you create the login for the child's app through your family app. So you have to have the paid family program first in order to use this. But they say they have no ads of any kind. All content is human curated. It does say it's COPPA compliant. So the question is, are they harvesting any data at all for any reason or not? Presumably they are, because it will basically do the same thing that Spotify does, fine-tune your views. It's just the difference is that everything that is available to choose from has been actually audited and listened to by a human. So in theory, it's a good way to go. But for me, I like steering kids away from apps as much as conceivably possible, to be perfectly candid. All right. So this is what Spotify says. Introduce your child to a playground of sound with all new Spotify apps, as long as that playground's not closed by current things in the news. But exclusively available with your Spotify Premium family subscription. Spotify Kids, your child can explore audio with you or on their own. Enjoy kid-friendly audio handpicked for them. I'm wondering if we're going to have any of those crazy, weird propaganda types that are trying to feed maybe LGBT stuff into your children's stories. You know, stuff that you might find on queer kids stuff. I wonder if that's going to be hand curated and fed into this application, or if it's all going to be completely secular neutral. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little leery. I'd like to know a little bit more about these employees handpicking the applications or the songs personally. Soundtrack their day, so basically they can choose kind of what they want. Designed for the next generation of listeners. See, there's the rub. We got to get them addicted to Spotify young, so we have them. All right, Spotify Kids is an easy and fun way for your child to explore the world of sound on their own or with their family. You're in charge. It's easy for you to decide what your child hears. You can switch anytime between tracks and playlists chosen for younger or older kids, and audio for them. Peace of mind for you. All content in the app is handpicked by our editors to be family friendly and fun for kids to explore. So that's, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Is this an okay thing? It seems like a good compromise, or is this a concern? Let me know what you think about that one. All right, Saudi Arabia apparently has been tracking phones by using an industry-wide carrier weaknesses. So this was, I believe this is actually going along before the things that shall not be named, he who shall not be named illness. And so basically, it says The Guardian says, I was looking through The Guardian for an article. I'm assuming this is The Guardian article. I couldn't find a link to it there, couldn't find it in The Guardian, so I don't know if The Guardian means something else. But anyway, this is a weakness in signaling system 7. Basically, this is like Stingray. So the government in this case has been doing what our government's been doing for a long time. They were just kind of caught in ours. You know, in theory, they say we can't do it, but whatever it happens to be. But anyway, there's an unknown whistleblower said they knew of no legitimate reason for requests to that volume. There is no explanation, no other technical reason to do this. The Guardian quoted the sources saying Saudi Arabia is weaponizing the mobile technologies. Well, who's not weaponizing the mobile technologies? Do you just wait till we get to our dystopia news for the week? You'll see some fun stuff, yo. You'll see some fun stuff. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and have a look at our last article in the topic. So Microsoft to end investments in facial recognition firms after any vision controversy. Now, this is not... They're not going to stop facial ID. They're just stopping working with third-party facial ID. So AnyVision was accused of helping the Israeli government surveil the West Bank. So that's exciting. Microsoft says it will no longer invest in third-party facial recognition companies following a controversy around its funding of an Israel startup, AnyVision, which critics and human rights activists say powered a surveillance program in the West Bank, following an NBC News report about the company's relationship with the Israeli government. Microsoft now says an independent investigation led by former U.S. Attorney Eric Holder and his international firm Covington and Burley found that AnyVision's technology has not previously and does not currently power a mass surveillance program in the West Bank that has been alleged by media reports. So he says they haven't been doing it. Media reports say it has been doing it. Had it done so, Microsoft says it would have constituted a breach of financial pledge or ethics. Regardless, so in other words, they're saying that there's not enough evidence to say completely that they have done this, but there's some evidence here that it's potentially possible. So as an abundance of caution, Microsoft says that it's just not going to risk that. And so, for whatever reason, that would happen to be. So, by making a global change to its investment policies to end minority investments in companies that sell facial recognition technology, Microsoft focuses a shift on commercial relationships that afford Microsoft greater oversight and control. So, in other words, they're still going to be using it. They're just going to be doing more control. So, take that for what that's worth. So, those are our privacy news. Honestly, like, not a lot of serious, crazy, bad privacy news in the this week. A lot of it's because everyone's all freaking out about, we're all gonna die, we're all gonna die. Which, no, we're not all gonna die. But anyway, that's our news stories for the day. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already. Have a look at the other videos we have in our catalog. And don't forget, hey Alexa, order unicorn meat. Confirm.